Let's revolutionize your hot yoga practice. And this video is really for everybody, but especially for the Bikram yoga enthusiasts, and why Vinyasa can be so good for you and will actually make your Bikram practice better. Say that 10 times fast. Make your Bikram practice better. Bikram practice better. Okay, first of all, what's Bikram yoga? Bikram yoga is known in the industry as 26 and 2. What does that mean? 26 postures, 2 breathing exercises, a sequence that Bikram put together, keeping the Western anatomy in mind. That's why it calls it Bikram's beginning yoga class. And the 26 and 2 sequence is a wonderful sequence. I taught it for the first 20 years of my 44-year career. I practiced it every single day for the first 20 years of my 44 career. I love the 26 and 2, and it's wonderful. And I'm not saying don't do it. I'm just saying open yourself up. Have the flexibility in your mind as well as your body for a different range of motion every now and then, not all the time. I'm not saying don't do it. I'm just saying add to it. Before we continue on, if you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing, hit the notification bell. If you have any questions or comments or concerns, put them down below. I get to all the comments. I'm happy to get back to you. You want to learn all about hot yoga, flows, tutorials, factoids like this video, hit the like button and the subscribe button right now. But if that's all you do, 26 and 2 sequences is in your daily practice, and that's the only practice that you do.
You don't want anything else.
A different type of rigidity will set in. Bikram and I weren't just subjected to the 26 and 2 postures. I was doing Bikram's advanced class 3 months into my practice, almost every day. I think we did it 3 times a week. Emmy Cleaves was really the one that taught me Bikram's advanced class. May she rest in peace. She passed away last year. An absolutely amazing yogini and a tremendous teacher, and she taught me the advanced class. When I came to Fort Lauderdale, I started doing the advanced class when my students got it more advanced. Didn't do it right away because they were just beginners, but within a very short period of time, we were doing the advanced class every single day. So now when we add this different range of motion to the body, that changes everything. Because like I said, if you're just doing the 26 and 2, you're gonna get stuck in a different type of rigidity. You're gonna get real flexible, real strong, really fast, and then you're gonna plateau and you're gonna get stuck. And people say, how can I get better? We wanna add different ranges of motion to your practice. If you're interested in taking the Barkan Method Hot Vinyasa class and you don't happen to live in Fort Lauderdale, I have an on-demand membership. You get a 7-day free trial. I put links in the description below. We also offer teacher training programs in the Barkan Method and in Vinyasa. Once again, I put links in the applications down below in the description as well. We'd love to have you join the family. Now, interestingly enough, Bikram's teacher, Ghosh, my teacher's teacher, his main thing was not just doing hot yoga. In fact, hot yoga really was Bikram's thing. It was really Bikram's idea to turn the heat on, or at least close the windows back in Calcutta, because he found he had a greater range of motion in the heat. When we're talking about Bikram yoga, you don't want to say standing head to knee and standing bow and balancing stick. That's not Bikram yoga. What's Bikram yoga is the 26 posture sequence that he put together. It was definitely his creation, but it's not the postures that are in it. Same thing with Patanjali. If you're a student of the history of yoga, Patanjali did not create the 8-limb path. He compiled it. He put it together. He didn't create the yamas and the niyamas. He put them in a sequence. And here's a side note for the Bikram people. Cobra locus, full locus, bow, Bikram copy and pasted it into his sequence. That's a very common sequence practiced by many different styles of yoga. So Bikram yoga is the 26 and 2, and that's what really we're talking about, and that's what I'm going to help you even make it your practice better by adding range of motion. So back to Ghosh. What he did differently, what Ghosh did that was different than Bikram, is that he incorporated weight training with yoga. And as a weight training, the main concept is you never do the same exercise twice. You're always mixing it up. You're always shocking the body, and that's how the muscles can grow. That's how the muscles can improve. Same thing in yoga. We want to, on occasion, shock the body. Now, I'm a big proponent of doing the same postures every day, like Bikram does, because that's how you can measure results. But every now and then, we want to shock the body, take it into a different direction, do something a little different, and that's how you're going to soar in your practice and improve even faster. Now, going back to Bikram's advanced class, which is actually Ghosh's advanced class, they start in a Vinyasa format. They do what's called Virabhadrasana, which I renamed as Salute to the God and Goddesses, which is a crescent warrior pose, and then a kneeling salute. Then they do sun salutation without upward dog, downward dog. But the upward dog, downward dog, that's really the transition in traditional Vinyasa. It comes from a different type of yoga. It comes more from the South, more from Mysore. But I loved it. Especially I love downward dog. But a lot of the Bikram people complain that they don't like downward dog because it hurts them. It hurts their neck, it hurts their shoulders because, and this is my belief, this is my opinion, in the Bikram world, they lock everything out. In Akra pose, in triangle pose, it's lock, 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 tight, tight, tight. Like Bikram would say, contraction of the abdominal walls, everything is tight, tight, tight. If you're tight and you're locking out your arms in downward dog, you are going to irritate the neck and the shoulders. You're just not doing it properly. You got to get the shoulders away from the ears. So let's head over to the studio with Elena, and I'm going to show you the proper technique so that you can do downward dog. It won't irritate your neck and your shoulders, and it's an amazing posture because it's moving all the muscles of the body at the same time. From upward dog, your knees don't touch the ground. You're going to flip on your toes into downward facing dog. Let's break this down. First, I'm going to have Elena go to tabletop. Because people ask, how far should my hands be from my feet? If you're in tabletop, your hips are over your knees, your shoulders are over your wrists. This is it. Just flip back to downward dog, and there you are in the perfect downward dog. Have you ever taken a Baron Baptiste class? Baron's a good friend of mine for over 40 years. He has a longer downward dog. I like this one, where the hips are over the knees, flip back from tabletop. First thing we're going to do is to get the shoulders back away from your ears. That's key. Go to tabletop for a second, Elena, so you can relax. Because I find it in the Bikram world, everything's tight, everything's locked out. So when people come to a vinyasa class from the Bikram world, they lock out their arms. We want to pull the shoulders back. We want to soften the elbows. So you don't want to lock out those arms. You want to almost relax more into this position. Downward dog is such an important pose. If you have a dog at home, the first thing that dog does when he wakes up in the morning is to do a downward dog to stretch the body. It's our animal instinct to stretch this way. That's why it's such an important pose. So back to downward dog, Elena goes. We're going to pull those shoulders back away from the ears. That's our first priority. And soft elbows. Don't lock out those arms, my Bikram people. We're going to lift the rib cage, and once again, the tailbone turns down, and with that famous scoop, we don't want to arch the back. So here's another great assist if you're a teacher. Hands at the hip crease. You're going to pull the hips back. One of the big problems, people are too far forward. Go way forward like this. And if I say pull the hips back, they bring their hands back. Walk your hands back. This is what they want to do. That's the instinct. So bring your hands back again and bring your weight forward. Tell them, don't move your hands. Just pull your hips back and soften. Don't tighten up. Don't lock everything out. So the hips go back, and eventually the head and the chest turn down to the floor. The Iyengar, who's famous for this pose, is bring your head all the way to the floor. Hips back, tailbone under. Now, I started representing Bikram in the late 1990s. Various workshops. I go to different Bikram studios across the country, and I'd start doing Bikram workshops. Speaking of Emmy Cleve, she and I did a workshop once at Kripalu, and we co-taught. It was really a fun weekend. I would teach one set, she would teach the other set. We did the advanced class. She actually taught the advanced class in that weekend. It was really a great weekend. But as I started doing more and more of the Yoga Journal conferences and the Omega conferences, and I was turned on to the top vinyasa teachers, once again coming from the South, a different region, different style of yoga, where they do a lot of upward dog, downward dogs. That's when I was turned on to the whole vinyasa format and loved it. I love the cardiovascular aspect. I love the upper body strength with all the chaturangas that we do, which means chaturanga means 4 limbs, dandasana staff pose. And that's when I started to think about how can I incorporate this vinyasa format, not just in my practice, but in my teaching. And that's when I realized that Bikram's advanced class starts with a vinyasa. He calls it Salute to the God and Goddesses. I call it Devas Namaskar. He calls it Virabhadrasana. That's a little technical. We don't have to get into now. And then they do the sun salutation without upward dog and downward dog. So that's how Bikram starts it. And then he goes right from triangle to separate leg, head to knee, and it flows continuously. So I'm saying, how can we use this format with the downward dog, upward dog, downward dog format? So instead of stepping up into one of the postures from the Krishnamacharya in the southern lineage, we step up into one of our poses. So now it's a fusion of postures that are in the Bikram series and the traditional vinyasa format. And then the sequence came to me pretty quickly after I realized we could step up into one of our poses.
I have a great idea.
So we start with sun salutation, and I honor Bikram in the Vishnu Ghosh version by doing a double chaturanga. So in the Bikram world, they step back, they come down from forward bend, they step back into runner's lunge, into high plank, they go down, back up again, and then they come back into the runner's lunge. What I do is they go down, back up again, and down into upward dog, and downward dog. So we're constantly doing the double chaturanga in honor of Bikram and Vishnu Ghosh's sun salutation. Once again, honoring Bikram and Vishnu Ghosh, the second vinyasa is salute to the god and goddesses. But I kept it north and south, or 2 directions, instead of going all 4 directions that Bikram does in his advanced class. Once again, I don't have to get into the technical part of it, but it's crescent warrior and it's kneeling salute. And that's a wonderful way. It's also cardio and also coming from our lineage. But I do it from downward dog instead of doing it from a standing position. In the third vinyasa, we step up into warrior 2, which creates a setup for triangle pose. And then I added revolving triangle, which comes from a different lineage, because I love the revolving triangle. It takes the spine in the other direction, once again, adding more versatility to the practitioner, especially the Bikram practitioner that's just used to doing the triangle in one direction. We take you in the other direction. What a difference it's going to make. And then the fourth vinyasa was easy. We go right from, because this is also following the format from Bikram's advanced class, we go right to standing separate leg, head to knee, a posture that's unique from our lineage because of the rounding of the spine. And then I added on the side forward bend or Parsvottanasana just to get a little more hamstring stretch with a flat back, a little different range of motion as well. And then the fifth vinyasa is completely different, definitely not inspired by the Bikram Vishnu Ghosh world. Actually, there's Rainbow Mars, a wonderful vinyasa teacher. I think she's down in the Bahamas. But we do the one-legged upper dog, and we flip over into one-arm wheel, and we do compass pose and full splits. It's a great cardio, upper body strength vinyasa. That's the fifth. And I'm very proud to say it's famous now in practice across the world. And I know I was sort of rushing through the vinyasas. If you want to learn a little bit more in detail, check out this video I did a while back, which gives a little more detail to how I came up with the Barkan Method Hot Vinyasa format in the Hot Vinyasa class. But let's go back to the point of this entire video. If you're just doing the 26 and 2, I'm encouraging you to do different things. I'm not saying do it instead of, do it along with. Continue to have your regular weekly practice, but every now and then you throw in a vinyasa class. It adds in the different range of motion. Don't be afraid of downward dog. Do it properly to protect your neck and shoulders because it's a really wonderful pose and a wonderful transition. We're going to get more cardio. We're going to get stronger, and it's going to make your Bikram practice better. That I guarantee, because we add this versatility, different range of motion, changes everything, and makes all the difference. So that's our episode for today. Thank you so much for watching. If you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing, hit the notification bell. Any comments or questions, put them down below. I get to all the comments. You'll learn all about hot yoga, and I will see you the next video. Bye, guys.